Okay, so wow, like what an incredible day of panels and discussions, and Connected Minds is so excited to have been able to be a sponsor and even a part of this conference series that really preceded us as a program, but with Pina at our helm, it just made so much sense to integrate Connected Minds with the Bracing for Impact series, and I can see why. I'm a tingle with all of the discussions that happened today, so we're just so excited about it. And especially because today we got to hear from Indigenous perspectives, we got to hear from perspectives of people with disabilities, and this is really integral to the Connected Minds mission and mandate, as you know, because we are all about co-creating and co-leading socially responsible, community-engaged research that optimizes the benefits and mitigates the risk of this new techno-social collective that we all live in now, a society that is entangled with humans and machines together for better or for worse. But we really hope that Connected Minds is one of those bright lights that Mark mentioned in the first panel today. This is what we're striving towards. And I want to also mention that I think one year ago, almost today, we found out that we got these funds from CFREF, and we just almost sort of had a little early birthday party a few weeks ago when we had our retreat. But one of the things we've been doing over the last year that Pina's mentioned is really, making sure that the foundation is there, making sure that we have all of the guidelines in place to be able to engage in this work mindfully and with an equity lens. So I'd love to, it is my honor, to share with you some of the projects that we have been able to fund in this past year. So as you may or may not know, Connected Minds funds multiple different styles of projects. We fund PhD students, we fund postdoctoral fellowships, seed grants, and at the end I'm going to tell you about another really amazing opportunity that we have coming up. But let me just for a moment highlight some of our postdoctoral scholars. So just recently we have onboarded Salamata Konate at York University, supervised by Lale Sayed Kalantari in our Faculty of Engineering. And they're working on paving the path towards AI fairness in medical imaging through AI interpretability. We also have Saleh Shi Hirko at York University, supervised by Tesh Jenga, who I believe is here, waving in the back. Tesh is also one of our new research enhanced hires, so we're very excited to have him here today. And they're working on regulating AI-enabled digital technologies in healthcare, exploring approaches for inclusivity and fairness. So you can see a theme here. We're very interested in looking at how AI, the healthcare industry, and the equity lens are all working together. So again, very bracing for impact. Some exciting PhD scholars that we funded recently are Brian Joel Rivera at Queen's University, supervised by Puya Amuri, another research enhanced hire funded by Connected Minds. And they're working on socially responsible goals of making low-cost prosthetics for use in war-torn countries. And we don't just fund things related to healthcare. We also have a really vibrant and exciting art space that we are funding projects in. And we have a PhD scholar named Shabnam Sukhdev at York University working with Professor Mary Bunch on connecting minds through AI understanding familial trauma through arts installations. So really, we don't see, the arts and humanities as separate in Connected Minds from the STEM and engineering type of faculties. We really are all about transdisciplinary integration because, as we've heard from our panelists today, this is really where the solution lies to all of these problems that we're facing. So we're very excited to have all of our projects have a transdisciplinary lens. And finally, I want to highlight a few of our seed grants that were just recently awarded. So at Queen's University, Matthew Pan and his partners at Spiderweb Show, who are an arts performance company, have started a project on the metaphysical theater, designing physical interactions in virtual reality, live performances using robotics and smart textiles. I don't know what a smart textile is, but I'm very excited to find out. We also have, this one's very cool, with Michael Kalu and his partners at Black Creek Community Health Center and Indigenous Friends Association, who are also here today, our wonderful partners there, are working on bridging mobility gaps by co-designing culturally appropriate mobility AI-powered wearables. So all of the ways that we're looking at through Google Glass and all of that, thinking about how we can improve mobility using these kinds of technologies. And finally, led by Joe D'Souza at York University, along with collaborators from the University of Alberta, Victoria, and Toronto, are all exploring the integration of the healing power of Nehiyawewen, which is the Cree language. So we are extremely excited to be following the progress of all of these projects that we've just recently funded. Students, scholars, knowledge mobilization events. We have a lot of opportunities for our partners through travel awards and other kinds of opportunities like this. But we're just over the moon that we've been able to, within the last year, start to get funds flowing to these amazing scholars and researchers who are really exploring the use of intelligent technologies and how we can help to create a healthy, just society with an equity lens. So if I could just close by saying that we have another really exciting opportunity on the horizon, and all of our opportunities, well, almost all of our opportunities are partner-based. So if you're, depending on what sector you're in, if you're interested in getting involved in Connected Minds, we have our team grant competition coming up. The NOI is due in early May. And this is a really exciting $1.5 million opportunity. We're making several of these grants available, and we require multi-sector partners to be a part of our scholarly teams. So if you're interested in finding out more about our team grants or any of the other opportunities that are available through Connected Minds, I highly encourage you to come and talk to me during the reception, or I'd like to point out our wonderful partnership manager, Herb Goltz, over here. So if you're interested in partnering with us, please come and seek us out. But otherwise, we're just really excited to have been a part of this day and a part of this amazing connection of minds, if you would pardon my horrible pun joke. And just another amazing thank you to Pina for putting this fabulous day together, and I'm just really excited to see where we get to go from here. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Caitlin. Hi, great to be here. James Elder from York University. I've really learned a lot today. It's been a great meeting. I'm here to talk very briefly in my capacity as co-director of CAIS, the Center for AI and Society at York University, along with Pina, one of the many hats she wears. And I want to start by just emphasizing how aligned the center is with what we've heard today. We've heard a lot about the critical need to reach across disciplinary boundaries and work across sectors of our society to try to understand and address the challenges of AI, right? And that's very much what CAIS is trying to do. So, for example, Pina is from the law faculty at York. I'm actually jointly appointed to the Lassonde School of Engineering at York and the Faculty of Health. And the center actually integrates more than 50 professors, faculty members across 7 faculties at York University. So it's a really interdisciplinary organization, and that's exactly what we're trying to do, very aligned with Connected Minds. Okay, so I think we're going to start advancing the slides, hopefully. I think I'm in control, sorry. So here we go. So just very briefly, we conceptualize the center as an integration across 2 broad themes of intelligent systems, so a lot of the technical issues, but also public policy. That's a very broad term encompassing many of the things we've heard about today. But importantly, also addressing real application areas, and the 2 broad application areas that we primarily focus on are health and smart cities. We've already heard quite a bit about both of those, and I'm going to try in the very small amount of time I have to just give you a kind of random sampling of some of the exciting projects that are going on at York. And it's going to go by very quickly, and my apologies, but just to give you a sense. So this is kind of interesting because we just heard about how computer science is dead, right? Or at least programming is dead. And I actually get quite a few young students coming to me and asking if should they forget about applying to computer science, right? Because it's done, right? And I have to say it's not dead. It's just another example of evolution, right? And so without going into detail, large language models are not going to end programming. They're just going to change the nature of our work. And if anything, it's even more important, to go into computer science and understand how to use these powerful tools. So, for example, here's some a nice slide from my colleague Jack Jang on how the future of coding is changing as a collaboration between humans and large language models. The other thing I'll mention about software engineering is what's evolved in the last 10 years particularly is the realization that we have to approach software engineering a slightly different way from machine learning, right? So traditionally, program verification involves checking that for all possible inputs, the correct outputs are delivered, right? That's the classical program verification method. But you can't do that with machine learning even, but even, particularly for large language models, the whole idea is that there's an almost uncountable number of inputs, right? So it's a different style of approach to software engineering. So the field of software engineering, if anything, is in a new renaissance where we have to understand how to meet the challenges of AI. And I should have mentioned Hadi Hamadi here is one of the leaders here at York in this field. Many health applications, so we've just hired Ellen Daltabadi from Vector. Some of you may know her, so she's doing some really exciting work on using large language models for health, for a range of applications, including diagnostics, prognostics, and so forth. And there's a really interesting dimension on how these can be used for pandemic situations where you get this unmanageable number of inquiries from the general public, right? And how can we deal with that in an effective and timely way using large language models? I want to mention mobility because it's already been mentioned several times during the conference. It's an area we're very interested in at York University. So for example, in my lab, we're working with multiple partners, University of Toronto, MTO, Region of York, companies like Transplan, to try to understand how we can use AI to better monitor traffic in dense urban environments. I think many of you know that Toronto was just voted the most congested city in North America, I think. So it's good that we're best at something, but maybe we'd like to choose other things. So there's a problem to solve there. It has a big impact on our quality of life, but also on the environment, sustainability. And a key aspect of this is also human safety. So protecting vulnerable road users. If we want to be more sustainable, we need people to walk more, to ride their bikes more, but it has to be safe, right? So there's opportunities for AI there. And part of that is being able to predict patterns in advance, patterns of motion in advance, so we can better control signal timing and react to emergencies. There's work from my colleague Manos Papagelis on this topic. And then mobility moves indoors. So there's a lot of mobility challenges and accessibility challenges also indoors. So one of the ones we're working on currently is trying to make wheelchair assistance more accessible at airports. So we're working with a company called Solaris Robots that has the wheelchair contract for Pearson, actually. And next time you're at Pearson, you'll notice just how many wheelchairs there are there. So it's a huge need. It turns out that it's not really super responsive to that need in terms of getting the wheelchairs where they need to go to the people that need them in a timely way. And so there's opportunity to use AI to, in this case, deliver semi-autonomous wheelchairs that can follow an agent around the airport so they can lead multiple wheelchairs at a time. So this is a project with Solaris Robots, myself and Michael Jenkin at York. Okay, I want to mention Nico Troy. I don't know if he's still here. He was here earlier, but he does a lot of very cool research, which is a lot about, very important in terms of understanding how humans communicate with other humans in a mediated world. So Zoom is the obvious one. We all spent a huge portion of our time on Zoom or Microsoft Teams or whatever. There's some fundamental visual communication challenges there that he works on. The simplest perhaps being, when I think I'm looking at you, I'm actually looking at my camera, right? And so you don't have the impression that I'm looking at you. And we are so ultra sensitive to those social signals of where we're looking and shared attention. And so that's a challenge that he's trying to solve, but the challenge becomes even more interesting as we introduce machines into this mix, right? And we have robots and humans interacting. So where is the robot looking? And is it attending socially in the right ways? And can we design robots that they send the right social signals? So lots happening in that space. And sorry, I know I'm running out of time, but I think I said 1 or 2 more slides. Yeah, I wanted to mention this project partly because it involves a number of people you've already met, so particularly Baycrest. So this is a collaboration between York and Baycrest, and Alison Secular was here for the health panel. She's been a big contributor to this project. So this is a collaboration between York, Baycrest, and OCAD University, a number of senior care providers beyond Baycrest, and a number of Ontario companies with the goal of applying AI and robotics, particularly social robotics, to senior care. So we think there's a huge opportunity there to address a major challenge in delivering quality services to seniors. I should say for many of the things I've talked about, there's huge regulatory issues, there's huge policy issues, and social issues as well. So I'm sure these are popping into your mind as I say these things. So there's both opportunity and real challenges, both at the technical and the governance level. Okay, and just a couple more things I want to mention also that Schulich is an important part of CAIS, and there's some exciting work on the application of AI to business problems, management problems, financial modeling, and so forth. And Murat Cristel is on the executive for CAIS, and he's doing a lot of interesting research in this area. Oh, and sorry, skip past the last slide, which was an application of AI to migration and refugee challenges. And there's sort of, again, it's like maybe a opportunity and risk balance. Again, there's opportunities to use AI to better optimize migration and refugee problems, but there's also potential risks involved in the application of AI in surveillance and so forth that might be discriminatory against vulnerable populations. And this is work led by Sean Rehag from, I guess this is our new Ontario Research Chair at Markham. Okay, so that's a smattering of projects. If you're interested, just reach out to Pina or I later. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, James. As you can see, some very exciting work coming out of the university, and we'll be able to report back in the next iteration. But until then, I just want to quickly call up Jennifer. So Jennifer McLean, I work with her closely in many different hats, right? From the IP Innovation Clinic, Connected Minds, and she's of course the Assistant Vice President of Innovation and Research Partnerships at York in the BPRI office. And over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Pina. So I have the deeply unenviable spot of standing between you and wine. And I have to summarize all of the fabulous things that we heard today, which it's not going to be easy, but I did my best to collect tidbits and snippets and nuggets that I think kind of will encapsulate what I heard today, and I would love to hear your feedback and your thoughts over a glass of wine in a few minutes. So, firstly, unraveling the societal impact of AI exists at an intersection that is both deeply technical and requires deep understanding of society. We need both of those aspects in order to do this well. And I think we did a great job today. Pina, this was an amazing conversation and thrilling, engaging. I have never seen so many people writing notes and taking things down and taking things in and engaged conversation at the break. So well done. It was fabulous. The use of technology and the impact of that technology has positive, negative, obvious, and unknown effects on society. On a positive note, I want to say that we have come so incredibly far. When I first started engaging with AI, it was probably 10 years ago, and there's two little things that I wanted to share, two little anecdotes from early at that point. The first one was there was a paper that came out that was looking at an analysis of the province's use of AI in hiring. So what they did was they wanted to make things easier. They have so many CVs that get submitted into the province. So they fired all of the CVs they'd received and the hiring decision that was made, and they developed an algorithm, they trained it, and they wanted to then use that algorithm to then make hiring easier going forward. The two key elements that came out of that hiring, this is years and years and years ago, were that those that were hired played lacrosse and were named Josh. That would never happen now. That would never happen. We would see that and kill it. The other piece is also on an HR perspective. I met with a company, it was a startup company, they were in an incubator, they had funding, they had been invested in. They had a tool that was going to make hiring easier. So what they had is that they would work with companies, and when a candidate was interested in applying for a job, they had to upload their CV and a headshot. And what they had to do, or the hiring manager then could do, was just swipe left or right for the candidates that they wanted based on the headshot. And when they were telling me about this, they were so excited. They were just thrilled that, like, this is going to be so easy. And I'm looking at them like, have you thought about any other diversity challenges? And it was the first time they had been asked that question. You can imagine the demographic of the developers and who these individuals were, but they had never been, they had been invested in by venture funds, and no one had actually pushed them on that. You'll be happy to know that that technology did not go to waste. It's now in Tinder. So we adapt. As a society, we adapt. We take the technology, we use it in different places, and we create the progress that we need to have. So one of the things that I captured from the second panel is that as we make this progress, the human experience will become again and again the unifying and connecting force. It's music, it's arts, it's our health, it's how we engage with humans and with the individuals, and we create those relationships, and that's how we will see that ongoing progress and development. So even though I learned professors and computer science, coding were obsolete today, that human connection is not going to be obsolete. And the younger generation is they have no issue adapting to this. The other anecdote I wanted to share is my son was studying for his grade 9 chemistry test this week. And I was asking him, Bud, do you need me to quiz you? Do you need me to ask questions and things? He's like, no, Mom, I just asked ChatGPT to write me a test. And so he fed the subject matter in, gave the grade level, and ChatGPT spit out a practice test for him so that he could practice for his chemistry test. They're so good at this, and they use it in all of the right ways. The other thing he's annoyed about, though, is that all of their written work has to be done by hand, but it has to be handwritten and handed in, because that way it's not been written by ChatGPT. So he has both sides of it. It's both being able to use it for all of the fabulous experts, and now they have to learn how to write by hand again. So, finally, the impact of AI on society is hugely complicated, complex, nuanced, and not obvious. And to understand it requires so much data, so many inputs and outputs, that it really is beyond human comprehension. So, unfortunately or fortunately, it really does become an ideal problem to be solved with AI. So, with that, pass to Pina. Thank you.
Amazing, and she did that all on her feet without ChatGPT. So this really, I don't want to keep us from the reception. It's really time to wrap up and say thank you to our formidable speakers, our chairs, your tour de force. Around the room, many have said that the quality and rigor of this conference was just so good, and so, in a sense, compared to a lot of the other AI conferences out there, right? This one is way up there. So, yay. So, and that's a testament to the rigor of our speakers and chairs who really brought the substance to it. Our organizers, incredible behind the scenes. That's also a testament to their work. So thank you, Sandra, Joe, Caitlin, and your team, and just everyone. Thank you for that. Microsoft, Nadine, without your support, we wouldn't be here. So truly indebted. And all of you here in this room for being the humans, right? This is it, the human-centered approach. We wanted to ensure we had a fully in-person and not online conference, and here you are, and thank you for showing up, and thank you for making the time. I know everyone is busy with crazy calendars, but you're here. I hope you took some good things away, and look forward to seeing you back at the next Bracing for Impact. And now it's time for some drinks. Look forward to continuing over a more social atmosphere. Thank you.